Kiwis love a takeaway, or takeout as they'd call it in the USA. Just see our waistlines for proof. Here are the top 10 takeaway foods in New Zealand according to ChatGPT, listed 10 through to 1. Number 8 will shock you. No, it actually might. It is quite surprising, really. Number 10, Hell Pizza. Hell Pizza is a pizza chain originating in Wellington. The original store opened just up the road from Victoria University in 1996. It gained a lot of notoriety for its cheeky pizza names and creative toppings. They were also one of the first food outlets in New Zealand to offer online ordering. They quickly became very popular around Wellington, then all of New Zealand except for Gisborne and Nelson for some reason, and even spread to Australia, the UK, Canada, even Korea had a couple of franchise shops. Anyway, according to ChatGPT, Kiwis still love Hells. If you ask me though, they've become a shell of what they used to be, with pizzas getting smaller and smaller and costing just more and more. Number 9, the Sausage Sizzle. The Sausage Sizzle is the mainstay outside any Bunnings on a Saturday morning and has been a traditional fundraising event for decades. If I had to describe a sausage sizzle to someone from outside New Zealand, I'd say it's like if Temu or Shein started selling hot dogs. You take a cheap, mass-produced, pre-cooked sausage of questionable ingredients, chuck it on a barbecue grill until it's blackened and charred on the outside, and stick it on a slice of buttered white bread. Maybe some fried onions too if you're upper or middle class, or at least think you are. Number 8, whitebait fritters. I told you number 8 was weird. I know some people really love whitebait fritters, but should they actually be in the top 10 list of takeaway foods? I suppose some fish and chip shops sell them. Whitebait are tiny little fish that you can only catch once a year, which makes them really expensive. They're so tiny that I don't know how you'd eat them. So to combat that, someone decided to take handfuls of them, mix them with batter and make them into a fritter. I don't know, I'm not a seafood guy, so I'll say that if you like them, good for you. For me, it's the eyes though. All those tiny little eyes staring at you as you go to take a bite. Number 7, Subway. According to ChatGPT, Subway is one of New Zealand's most popular fast food chains and is, quote, a preferred choice among older generations for a healthier fast food option. I've never been a big fan of Subway. Every time I've been in there, the sandwich fillings on display look disgusting. They've been sitting in that display case all day and are drying out, and it always looks as if the staff consider clean to be just a tertiary option. Then there's the healthy food options they offer. Actually, this one time I did get Subway, I ordered this sandwich that had some sort of meatballs in it. When I unwrapped the sandwich to dig into it, the entire thing collapsed into some sort of soup. I can't be bothered with Subway anymore. The place is a gross mess and the prices are sky high. Number 6, Burger King. I can't keep up with Burger King in New Zealand. One minute they're everywhere, and the next you can hardly find one. This constant cycle of expansion and contraction has probably happened 5 or 6 times at least since Burger King first opened in New Zealand in the mid-90s. We do seem to be in a contraction phase at the moment, with Burger King stores being kind of hard to find around the country, which makes me question why is it ranked so highly in this list. Number 5, Domino's Pizza. Domino's are apparently the 3rd most popular fast food chain in New Zealand. I mean, they are cheap, and that's a huge bonus in today's economy. Cheap Tuesdays was always a hit with me and my friends in our younger days. You do get what you pay for though. They're not the greatest of pizzas by any stretch of the imagination, but in my opinion, they're better value for money than Hell's these days. Number 4, KFC. Honestly, I'm surprised they aren't number 1 when you consider how Kiwis will break the law and nearly bring the country to its knees to get KFC. KFC was the first ever international fast food chain to open in New Zealand, and the country hasn't looked back since. KFC, or Kentucky Fried Chicken as it's known to the elderly, got New Zealanders hooked on fried chicken. We even tried to make our own version of it called Homestead, a fried chicken franchise that fizzled out at some point in the late 1980s. KFC has us hooked, but with the recent introduction of Popeyes to New Zealand, will we still be a loyal servant to the Colonel? Number 3, McDonald's. Like KFC, I'm surprised this isn't number 1 or number 2. The Golden Arches have been in New Zealand since 1976 when they opened their first store in Porirua, which means that people like me, and obviously younger, can't remember a time without McDonald's. I'd say Macca's, as we call it here in New Zealand, is so ingrained into New Zealand life that our society would just collapse without it. Some do love to turn their nose up at McDonald's, but they are a massive economic driver here in New Zealand. And despite the fact that these days it's probably cheaper to go eat at an actual sit-down restaurant and get something of way better quality than it is to go to McDonald's, Macca's is still as busy as it ever was. Number 2. Mince pies. Not a franchise, but just plain old mince pies are, according to ChatGPT, New Zealand's second most popular takeaway food. ChatGPT also says that they're consumed at a rate of 15 per person each year in New Zealand. And I can't say that's me, and that's probably because we're all about the steak and cheese in this house, but we've talked about pies on this channel before and how they're a core part of New Zealand's constitution. Mince pies can vary quite a bit in terms of price and quality in New Zealand. The pies in your local dairy's pie warmer or supermarket freezer probably contain more cow lips and rectum than actual prime beef mince. But they are still popular and they fueled many a New Zealander to become what they are today. Of course, you can go a bit fancy with them these days and pay upwards of $10 for a pie in some places, but that pie of dubious quality sitting in the servo's pie warmer all night will always be there for you when you need it to. Number 1. Fish and chips. Well, it had to be, eh? Fish and chips on a Friday night are a national institution in New Zealand. Fish and chips are so popular in this country that I couldn't even find a number on how many fish and chip shops there are. I reckon it's safe to say a town of 4,000 or 5,000 in New Zealand will have at least 2 fish and chip shops. They're not the flashiest or most original fast food around, but New Zealanders do love them. I don't know about fish, but apparently we eat 7 million servings of chips a week in this country. And like many of the takeaway options in this list, even when the price of a piece of fish and a scoop of chips has become astronomical, Kiwis aren't backing down on visiting the old chipper. Well, we love fast food so much in this country that we've had a few interesting goes at making our own fast food companies over the years. And if you want to learn more about how we tried to make our own version of McDonald's but with pies, then watch this video all about Georgie Pie.